So let's talk about Zopa. You might see that logo and just, lump it in with all the other new digital banks out there. But its story? Wow. Its journey from a totally disruptive idea to a modern financial powerhouse is one of the most important stories in all of fintech. We've got to dive in.
Right, so you see this logo. It's clean, it's modern. Your brain probably goes, okay, another app-based bank. But what if I told you that behind this simple logo is the story of a company that basically invented a whole new category of finance, a company that kicked off a revolution, and then, in a wild twist, eventually became the very thing it was trying to disrupt. It's a fascinating ride.
To really get what Zopa is all about today, we have to rewind the clock. We've got to go back to the beginning, back to when they were a true original fintech disruptor.
So their whole big idea? It was something called peer-to-peer lending. Think of it like this. Instead of going to a big, traditional bank for a loan, what if you could just borrow money directly from other people? Zopa built the online marketplace to make that happen. I mean, it was a totally radical concept back then. The goal was to cut out the middleman, which would hopefully mean better rates for everyone involved. Simple, but brilliant.
And here's the thing. Zopa wasn't just one of the companies doing this. No way. They were the company. In 2005, they launched as the world's very first P2P platform. This wasn't just some new startup. This was literally the birth of an entire industry.
So you gotta wonder, where does an idea like this even come from? Well, it turns out there's this really cool backstory. It connects to a pioneering UK online bank called Egg. A bunch of Zopa's founders, they came from Egg. And when you know that, it all just clicks into place. You can totally see that disruptor DNA in what they first set out to do, using tech to build a more direct, efficient financial system.
But the story gets even crazier, because after starting this whole revolution, the original disruptor decided to become part of the establishment. Yeah, they became a bank. Let's get into this massive transformation from a P2P pioneer into a fully fledged, regulated bank.
All right, let's just trace this journey. It all kicks off in 2005 with that groundbreaking P2P platform. That was their whole identity for a solid 15 years. Then, boom, in 2020, Zopa Bank officially launches. So why the huge pivot? Well, as a bank, they could fund their loans with stable customer deposits instead of relying on individual investors. It was a move for stability and scale, and they went all in. Just 1 year later, they shut down the P2P business completely. And now, they're diving deep into embedded finance, buying up other companies to get their financial products inside other services. What an evolution.
Okay, so that brings us to today. What exactly is Zopa now, and how does it make money? The best way to think about it is like a machine with 3 powerful engines, all working together to drive it forward. Engine number 1 is the core bank. This is Banking 101, right? They take in deposits from savers and use that money to fund loans and credit cards. Engine number 2, and this is a really big deal, is their embedded finance engine. Instead of just waiting for you to come to them, they partner with other brands to offer their products right where you already are. And finally, engine number 3, they're building out new verticals, like investments, trying to become a one-stop shop for your money.
So this whole embedded finance thing, what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, it's pretty clever. They partner with a huge retailer like John Lewis to offer personal loans to their massive customer base. Or maybe you're looking into solar panels. Well, Zopa works with Octopus Energy to provide the financing for that. And through their acquisitions, they're building the tech to be right there at the online checkout, offering you financing at the point of sale.
And is this strategy working? Oh yeah, the numbers really speak for themselves, so let's do a quick run-through. It all starts with trust. Over 1.5 million people in the UK now use Zopa.
That trust adds up to some massive scale. Since day one, the company has lent out over £13 billion. That is a huge number.
And on the other side of things, now that they're a proper bank, they're holding more than £5 billion in customer savings. This isn't just a scrappy startup anymore. This is a major financial institution.
So you have to ask, how do they manage all this? How do you go from being a niche platform to a major bank trusted with billions? The answer, and this probably won't surprise you, is all in the technology. I mean, just look at their tech stack. This does not look like your typical bank's IT department. It's all modern, cloud-native stuff. AWS, Kubernetes, Kotlin, the kind of tools you'd expect to see at a hot Silicon Valley startup. It really drives home the point. Zopa isn't a bank trying to use tech. It's a tech company that happens to be a bank.
And here's the absolute game changer. Get this. Over 98% of their lending decisions are automated, driven by machine learning. 98%. That's how they can be so fast and efficient. It's basically data science running the show, at an incredible scale.
So when you put all these pieces together, the history, the pivot to a bank, those three engines, and the cutting-edge tech, you start to see a potential blueprint for what modern banking is going to look like.
This quote from Zopa just nails their whole strategy. They want the trust and reliability you associate with a traditional bank, but delivered with the seamless, user-friendly experience of a modern tech app. It's their attempt to give you the best of both worlds.
So let's just break that down. On one side, you've got Zopa's pitch. Better value, total control from your phone, and super fast, transparent credit. On the other side, you've got the traditional model, which relies on physical branches and established reliability, but often comes with slower, more complex processes. Zopa's betting that for a growing number of people, their column is the far more compelling one.
And that leaves us with one fascinating final question. Zopa started as a radical outsider and evolved into a regulated insider that still thinks like a tech company. So, is this journey, from a niche fintech disruptor to an all-in-one digital financial hub, the path that every bank will eventually have to follow? Something to think about.